On a cold winter night, when the wind howled through the cracks of the small wooden house, a father sat by a dimly lit candle. His hands were rough from years of hard work, and his eyes carried a heaviness that came from countless sleepless nights. In his lap rested an old, worn-out pair of boots, which he was mending with great care. These boots weren't for himself but for his son, a boy with dreams so big they lit up even the darkest corners of their home. But the father didn't know if he could keep those dreams alive. The night was silent except for the soft sound of the needle piercing the leather. The father's thoughts wandered to the promise he had made years ago to his wife on her deathbed. She had held his hand tightly, her voice weak but filled with determination. "Promise me," she had whispered, "that you will give our children everything they need to chase their dreams. Promise me you will never give up, no matter how hard life gets." He had promised, and since that day he had worked tirelessly, taking on any job he could find. He labored in the fields under the blazing sun, hauled heavy loads in freezing winters, and even walked miles to sell vegetables in the market. Every penny he earned went toward his children's education, food, and clothing. But some nights like this one he wondered if it was enough. The son Arjun was a bright boy with a passion for learning. He wanted to become an engineer and build bridges that connected people and places. One day, Arjun often said, his eyes shining, "I will build a bridge so strong that even the biggest storms cannot break it." His father would smile and nod, hiding his doubts and fears behind the mask of encouragement. But their journey was far from easy. There were days when they had no food on the table, nights when the cold seeped through the walls, and moments when despair threatened to crush their spirits. Yet the father never gave up. He reminded himself of the promise he had made, the promise that kept him going even when his body ached and his heart felt heavy. One day, Arjun came home with a piece of paper in his hand and excitement in his voice. "Father, I've been selected for the engineering entrance exam, but the fees are high. Can we afford it?" The boy's eyes searched his father's face, hoping for reassurance. The father's heart sank. He didn't have the money, not even close. But he couldn't let his son see his despair. "Don't worry, my son," he said with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "I will take care of it." That night, the father sat by the candlelight again, thinking of ways to gather the money. He decided to sell the little piece of land they owned, the land where his wife had once planted flowers and where their children had played. It was the last thing they had of value, but he knew it was a sacrifice worth making. When Arjun found out what his father had done, he was overwhelmed with emotion. "Father, why would you do this? How will we live without the land?" The father placed a hand on his son's shoulder and said, "A piece of land can be replaced, but your dreams cannot. I promised your mother I would do whatever it takes to support you, and I will keep that promise." With the money from the land, Arjun was able to take the exam and later received a scholarship for his studies. Years of hard work and sacrifice paid off as Arjun graduated with honors and got a job at a prestigious company. He built the bridges he had always dreamed of, bridges that not only connected places but also hearts. Years later, at the inauguration of his biggest project, Arjun stood before a large crowd. His father, now old and frail, was in the front row, his eyes filled with pride and tears. Arjun held the microphone and said, "Everything I am today is because of my father. He taught me the true meaning of love, sacrifice, and determination. He gave up everything so I could achieve my dreams. This bridge is not just my achievement, it is his legacy." The crowd erupted in applause, but all the father could do was smile. He had kept his promise, and that was all that mattered. In life, we often forget the sacrifices our loved ones make for us. We take their love and care for granted, not realizing the struggles they endure silently. A father's love is often quiet and unspoken, but it is as deep and unwavering as the strongest bridge. So the next time you see your father, or anyone who has made sacrifices for you, take a moment to thank them. Show them your love and gratitude because their efforts are the foundation of your dreams. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like and share it. And if you want to hear more stories filled with love, inspiration, and life lessons, hit the subscribe button and join our journey. Together, let's